Is this the cruel twist of fate that defines the Maple Leaf season? Finally finding their rhythm only to watch their foundation crumble beneath them? The hockey gods have a twisted sense of humor, don't they? Just when the Toronto Maple Leafs appear to have discovered the winning formula, just when the pieces seem to be falling perfectly into place, disaster strikes in the most unexpected way. Thursday night's 5-1 demolition of the Carolina Hurricanes should have been pure celebration, a statement victory, a declaration that this team is ready for the battles ahead. Instead, it's become a night shrouded in anxiety and uncertainty, all because of what happened, or more accurately, what nobody saw happen, to Joseph Woll. Let's be crystal clear about what unfolded at PNC Arena. This was the complete performance Toronto fans have been desperately craving. Bobby McMahon's 2-goal explosion, Scott Laughton's continued hot streak, Matthew Knies dragging defenders like they were children, and Austin Matthews reminding everyone why he's a generational talent. The Leafs didn't just beat Carolina, they systematically dismantled one of the Eastern Conference's elite teams, making it look almost routine in the process. But hockey, like life, rarely allows us to enjoy the good moments without attaching a price tag. And the price for this dominant victory? Potentially catastrophic. Here's what makes Woll's lower body injury so unnerving: nobody saw it happen. Not the coaches, not the trainers, not the eagle-eyed reporters covering every shift, not even the fans watching his every move. One moment, Woll was standing tall in the crease, having made 22 saves on 23 shots through 2 periods, continuing his exceptional run since returning from personal leave. The next moment, he's ruled out for the 3rd period, replaced by Dennis Hildeby, and the entire complexion of Toronto's season has potentially shifted. The numbers tell the story of what the Leafs are losing if Woll misses significant time. Before Thursday's contest, he was posting a stellar .924 save percentage across 7 games, providing the stability and confidence that had been missing earlier in the season. This wasn't just competent goaltending. This was elite-level performance from a netminder who had finally seized his opportunity and refused to let go. Head coach Craig Berube's post-game admission that he didn't know the severity of Woll's injury only amplifies the concern. In today's NHL, where teams are notoriously tight-lipped about injuries, that kind of uncertainty usually means one thing: they genuinely don't know, which often translates to not good. The timing couldn't be worse. Anthony Stolarz remains sidelined with an upper body injury, already depleting what was supposed to be Toronto's greatest strength entering the season. The goaltending tandem that was meant to provide stability and depth has suddenly become the team's most vulnerable position. Hildeby has performed admirably in limited action, but asking him to shoulder the starting load while still developing is a monumental ask. And Artur Akhtaimov? He's simply not ready for NHL action, yet circumstances may force Toronto's hand. We've seen this movie before with the Maple Leafs. Injuries initially described as day-to-day mysteriously transform into multi-week absences. The optimistic hope is that Toronto was simply being cautious, protecting Woll from potential further damage in a game that was well in hand. The pessimistic reality, and Leafs fans know pessimism all too well, is that this could be another devastating blow to a season that's already had its share of turbulence. Let's pivot to something genuinely remarkable, a statistical oddity that perfectly captures Toronto's recent offensive explosion. The Maple Leafs have now scored on their first shot on goal in 4 consecutive games, joining the 2021-22 Tampa Bay Lightning as the only teams to accomplish this feat since the 2009-10 season. Read that again: in 15 years of NHL hockey, only 2 teams have managed this absurd achievement. Bobby McMahon's goal, just 53 seconds into Thursday's game, exemplified everything that's been clicking for Toronto lately. The third line, which has become an unexpected weapon, burst out of the gate with purpose and precision. McMahon's breakaway finish past Frederik Andersen, yes, that Frederik Andersen, the former Leafs netminder, set the tone immediately. There was no feeling out process, no tentative first period. Toronto came to impose their will from the opening faceoff. This statistical quirk might seem like trivia, but it reveals something deeper about Toronto's current state. For much of the season, The Leafs have been exceptional at 5-on-5 play, but often needed several minutes to find their rhythm. That hesitation has vanished. Now, they're attacking with intent from the first shift, putting opponents on their heels before they can establish any momentum. The offensive production over the past 2 weeks has been nothing short of spectacular. Goals are coming from throughout the lineup, not just from the usual suspects. The depth scoring that seemed like a fantasy in November has become reality in December. When your third line is generating offense like a second line and your second line is producing like a first line, you've got something special brewing. Saturday's home game against the Montreal Canadiens will be fascinating. Can Toronto make it 5 straight games scoring on their first shot? More importantly, can they maintain this offensive surge while potentially dealing with a goaltending crisis? Sometimes, the perfect line combination reveals itself not through careful planning, but through necessity and experimentation. The Knies-Austin-Matthews-Max Domi trio might just be that revelation for Toronto. Knies and Matthews were always going to be paired together. That much was certain. The chemistry between the power forward and the superstar center has been evident for months. But the right wing position has been a revolving door, with various players audition for the role. Domi's insertion into that spot, however, has unlocked something special. Thursday night showcased exactly why this combination works. Domi contributed 2 assists, but his impact extended far beyond the stat sheet. He's providing the playmaking creativity and hockey IQ that complements Matthews' goal-scoring prowess and Knies' physical dominance. It's a balanced line that can beat you in multiple ways. And speaking of Knies, what a performance! The young power forward was absolutely dominant, playing with a combination of skill and physicality that few players in the league can match. His second-period goal was a masterclass in determination and talent. After being knocked down by Shane Gostisbehere here, who's been excellent all season for Carolina, Knies didn't just recover, he elevated his game. He got back up, composed himself, then proceeded to run over Sebastian Aho like a freight train while the Hurricanes star desperately tried to backcheck. The finish, a gorgeous backhand that beat Anderson cleanly, was the cherry on top of an incredible individual effort. When Knies plays with this level of intensity and skill, he's genuinely one of the most exciting players in hockey. He's not just a complementary piece, he's becoming a legitimate force who can take over games. The play that led to Matthews' third-period goal perfectly illustrated this line's potential. It started with Knies keeping his stick on the ice in the defensive zone, intercepting Jordan Martinook's pass. The transition was seamless, all 3 players moving in sync, creating a 2-on-1 opportunity. Knies neutralized Alexander Nikishin, Domi delivered a perfect cross-ice pass, and Matthews finished with the clinical precision that's made him one of the game's premier goal scorers. Matthews looked like vintage Matthews on that goal, explosive, decisive, deadly. His shot velocity has returned, and more importantly, so has his confidence. Add in his 6 blocked shots and crucial penalty-killing contributions, and you've got a complete two-way performance from your franchise player. This line combination optimizes everyone's role. Knies gets to use his size and skill in high-leverage situations. Matthews has the space and support to do what he does best. Domi finds himself in a position where his creativity and vision can flourish without the pressure of being a primary scorer. It's chemistry, and chemistry in hockey is everything. If there's a dark cloud hovering over Toronto's recent success, beyond the Woll injury, it's the continued impotence of the power play. The Leafs have abandoned the 5-forward experiment, returning to a more traditional setup with Oliver Ekman-Larsson quarterbacking the top unit. Yet the results remain stubbornly disappointing. The numbers are damning. Just 10 conversions in their last 67 opportunities. That's a 14.9% success rate, well below league average and absolutely unacceptable for a team with this much offensive talent. Against Carolina's solid penalty kill, Toronto generated some looks but couldn't find the breakthrough. Ekman-Larsson showed good poise and decision-making, getting shots through to the net, but the finishers couldn't capitalize. There are adjustments happening. Matthew Knies has been moved to the second unit, while rookie Easton Cowan remains on the first. The theory is sound, spread the talent, create different looks, keep opponents guessing. But theory doesn't score goals, execution does, and Toronto's execution with the man advantage has been severely lacking. The frustrating part? There are signs of improvement. Matthews is showing renewed velocity on his one-timer, that blistering shot that used to be automatic from the left circle. The movement is better, the puck circulation more crisp. But against a disciplined penalty kill like Carolina's, those incremental improvements weren't enough to break through. The solution likely lies in creating more space for Matthews and William Nylander to operate from the faceoff circles. Both players are lethal when given time and room to shoot, but opponents have figured out that if you collapse on them, force them to make an extra pass, you can neutralize the threat. Ekman Larsson's role becomes crucial here. He needs to command enough respect as a shooting threat that defenders can't simply ignore him and focus entirely on the goal scorers. This remains a work in progress, and against playoff-caliber teams with excellent penalty kills, there won't be easy solutions. But for Toronto to be a legitimate Stanley Cup contender, they need to figure this out. You can't leave that much offense on the table and expect to win in the postseason. One of the season's most pleasant surprises has been the continued excellence of Toronto's third line. Bobby McMann's 2-goal performance was just the latest example of a unit that's been consistently producing. Scott Laughton has now scored in back-to-back games since being acquired, immediately justifying the trade that brought him to Toronto. This line isn't just scoring, they're playing a complete 200-foot game. They're winning puck battles, creating turnovers, and providing the kind of depth scoring that transforms good teams into great ones. When you can roll 3 lines that opponents have to respect, you become exponentially more difficult to defend against. McMann's development has been particularly impressive. He's playing with confidence, making smart decisions with the puck, and finishing his chances. His first goal, coming just 53 seconds into the game, set the tone for everything that followed. His second demonstrated his ability to capitalize on opportunities created by his line mates. The Montreal Canadiens come to town Saturday for what should be an electric atmosphere. The rivalry needs no introduction, and Toronto will be looking to extend their winning streak to 4 games while returning home after a grueling road trip. But the elephant in the room, or should we say the injured goaltender in the treatment room, will dominate all conversations until we know more about Woll's status. If it's minor, if he can return quickly, then Thursday's victory becomes exactly what it appeared to be, a statement when that proves Toronto is rounding into form at the right time. If it's serious, if Woll joins Stallars on the shelf for an extended period, then the Leafs face a completely different reality. Hildebrand would be thrust into a starting role he may not be ready for, and Toronto's greatest strength becomes a glaring weakness. The cruel irony is that everything else is clicking. The offense is humming, scoring on their first shot in 4 straight games and joining elite company in the record books. The Knies-Matthews-Domi line looks like it could be the optimal combination for the stretch run. The third line is providing game-changing depth. Even the defense, often criticized, played a solid game against a potent Carolina attack. But none of that matters if you can't stop the puck. Goaltending wins championships, and right now, Toronto's goaltending situation has gone from strength to crisis in the span of 1 period. This is the Maple Leafs reality: dominant one moment, vulnerable the next. The question now becomes whether they can weather this potential storm, or if, once again, fate has dealt them a crushing blow just when everything seemed to be falling into place. What did you think of the Leafs' performance against Carolina? Are you worried about Woll's injury, or confident that Hildebrand can step up if needed? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to smash that like button if you want more in-depth Leafs coverage. We're in this together, Leafs Nation, through the highs and the lows.